Rogers TV.
Focused on quality and convenience, there isn't much you won't find at Marie's Mini Mart. Home-style breads, sandwiches, plus a variety of artisan breads and delicious single-serve desserts available exclusively at our Frecker Drive location. Marie's Mini Mart, with 25 locations wherever you go, there we are.
Hello, and welcome to Sharing Our Cultures. This is the place where you get to meet amazing individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds who are making a difference in Newfoundland and Labrador. Joining me today is Barb Walsh, an amazing community leader, an author, and a radio host. Welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures. And I'm so delighted to have with me Barb Walsh. She's an amazing community leader. Welcome, Barb.
Thank you, Lloydetta. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, it's a great delight just to have you here and to hear all the great things you've been doing in this province. It's amazing. I'm glad we're getting to do this.
I am also glad. I want to share a lot of the good things that we're doing and a lot of the great things that are happening with the Black community in Newfoundland and Labrador. I'm excited to be here as well.
All right, great. So let's start off with what brought you to this province.
Well, what brought me here is a long story. No, I'll make it short. So, you know, my husband's originally from Newfoundland and his parents are here. And, you know, they're getting a bit older, so we decided to come and be close to them. So that's what initially brought me here. And as far as working, when I first came here, I came as the manager of settlement services for the Association for New Canadians. Okay. And of course, now my role has changed since then, which I love immensely. I am now the advisor for Black-centric programming at the association. Okay. But I've done many things apart from that, Lloydetta. You know.
Yes, I know. And we're going to hear all about them as well. Right, so I want to start off with the event you did for Emancipation Day. Why did you do it? Why was it significant? Tell us about that.
Well, you know, Lloydetta, so 2 years ago, Prime Minister Trudeau announced that officially August is Emancipation Month. And so, you know, coming from Toronto, Ontario, we have things all the time, emancipation, different independence celebrations. But I realized that Newfoundland had never had an emancipation event before, so I decided to do an inaugural emancipation event that was amazing. The talent that's here in Newfoundland from the Black community is unfounded. I was shocked that the more I meet people, the more I interview people, the talent that resides here in the province. So yes, Emancipation was a great day. We had Bushra Junad come in. Bushra was, she grew up here in Newfoundland and Labrador. And back then, you know, she did explain that there wasn't a lot of Black families, so she had certain challenges, and she was able to dive into Black history in the Atlantic and all of that stuff. So it was an amazing event filled with information, talent, you name it, and it was in recognition of the achievements of Black Canadians.
Right, so Emancipation Day itself is significant for Black people.
Absolutely, the end of slavery. So in 1883, that's when slavery was abolished. So in August 1st, 1883, so it is an amazing
right. Mm-hmm. And I think Bushra was able to make the connection between Newfoundland, Labrador and slavery.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, back, I believe it was 1987, between 87 and 89, they found the skeleton remains on Labrador, and it was the skeleton remains of a Black 22-year-old man who was missing an arm with the initials WH on his shirt, on his knife, and on his shoes. And Bushra brought this to life at the museum here at the rooms. She brought it to life life of what his life might be like. So she wrote a book about the many lives of W.H. So apart from that, we learned that there was 19 slave ships that were built here in Newfoundland and Labrador. We got more evidence of Black history here by the original owner of, I believe it's the Gazette, left in his will that his Black slave, the woman should be freed and her children should be freed. So we have little pieces here and there that we're finding, but we still need to have a complete picture.
Right. And some of that you might have an interest in.
Yes, I do, and I've been doing a lot of research here, so I'm hoping the more that I research, the more that I find that I can put that full connection together of Black history, not only in the Atlantic, but here specifically in Newfoundland and Labrador. We had Camille Turner a few years ago who did the Afrocentric Lab in Bonavista, and what she did was, there's a video of her all in white, and she's on a mountaintop overlooking the ocean carrying a stone, and she carries the stone back to the lab, and that is to show that there was stones that were put on the ships, and then as they picked up slaves, those stones were then offloaded and replaced with slaves.
Okay.
So a lot of exciting things in Newfoundland, a lot of new discoveries, and I'm absolutely thrilled to discover more.
Yes, and you're right in the middle of it.
Yes, I am, and I'm happy about that.
That's great. And you also, not only Emancipation Day you organized, but you also did one for Black History Month this year.
Yes, amazing, amazing, full of talent, and of course filled with a talented woman named Dr. Quaicoe, who was there, who was our keynote speaker, and I must say, Lloydetta, you blew everybody away with your amazing, amazing lecture. I still think about it, still gives me goosebumps. And we had local artists there performing, and also we highlighted the Black Excellence podcast. So another thing that I noticed when I was here is that people don't know about the talent here. They don't know about the people that are here. So what I did was I created the Black Excellence in Newfoundland and Labrador podcast. So far we've probably filmed about 13 or so. And what it did is it gives a lot of insight into the lives of the people that are here and what they're doing up and beyond their 9-to-5 jobs, and what they're doing to help the community and foster growth and a sort of inclusivity and a cultural foundation for them to reside in Newfoundland Labrador. Because that's one thing I did notice is that a lot of the people that I've spoken to here, they tend to sometimes want to leave after a while. And you know, I asked them, I said, you know, why are you leaving? They said, I don't feel the culturalness that I need to feel, and there's elements that are missing. And sometimes too, people get a bit, you know, Lloydetta, they get a bit afraid, I would say, because of certain challenges, certain things that are happening. For example, I had one of our newcomers come in to talk to me and tell me about, you know, walking down on Elizabeth Avenue, enjoying a summer evening for a walk, a newcomer who, this is the first place he landed in Canada. And he was approached by a couple of gentlemen who proceeded to say negative, stereotypical, and racist remarks to him. And, you know, this is a man who's almost 50 years old, and he was shedding tears in my office, saying that I fled the war in my country to come somewhere where I felt I was accepted and free, but yet I'm being attacked on the streets because of the color of my skin.
Right.
Yeah. So I see that there's things that happen, but change needs to happen, and I think change helps through education, through programs like this, like that you have, to let people understand what is happening out there with the newcomers that are arriving. You know, several times I've had people from the Muslim faith come in and tell me that, you know, they're basically pumping gas at their car, and somebody comes by and gives them the finger and says, "Get out of my province." Right? You know, so there needs to be more acceptance. Now, I've met Newfoundlanders that are the kindest, loving as people that you can think of, including my own family here, my in-laws. But you do have the odd person who still feels some kind of challenge. I don't know what it is exactly. When they see newcomers coming here, they feel like challenged, or they feel threatened. But instead of feeling threatened, I'm here to tell them to just embrace, because the more you know about other cultures, the richer you become, and the more amazing the province becomes on a whole.
Yeah. It is important to embrace diversity, and I think as the province becomes more culturally diverse,
Yes.
there needs to be that education piece so that everyone feels welcome and everyone feels they belong.
Yes.
Yeah.
The sense of belonging, and that's what I'm trying to help foster here in Newfoundland, for not just the Black community, for the BIPOC community, and people of color, just making them feel more welcome and not as an outcast and as if they don't belong. So when they come into my office and they say, you know, I don't feel like I belong here, I said, you do belong here. This land is for everybody. And you know, it brings me back to when one of our great singers here in Canada, Julie Black, she had sang the national anthem at the one of the NBA playoffs, and she said on it, you know, usually in our national anthem it says, on home and native land. She said, our home on native land. So she changed it. And that was amazing because it gives a whole different perspective of how people should embrace people from different race, religion, newcomers who are coming in, fleeing danger from their country, coming here for a sense of hope. You know, we need to help these people. We need to let them feel a sense of belonging here, because we all belong here, right? We're free to live where we want to live.
Yeah, that's true. And you experienced, you were out walking with your dog one day, and yeah, tell us about that, because that was a frightening experience.
That was an extremely frightening experience for me. Now, coming from where I'm from in Ontario, like we're extremely diverse, and you know, I would expect to see something maybe there like this or something happening, but I'll tell you, so I walk my dog on Manuel's Trail because I absolutely love it. It's very serene, it's very peaceful. And I was walking my dog on this particular evening, and as I was walking my dog, I came across a trunk, like a tree trunk, and on it, it had the N-word, it had the Nazi white power and all of that. So I continued walking because I'm trying to process it all now. I'm walking, I'm thinking, did I really just see that? What's going on? And I'm trying to process it. And as I continue walking, there's a section that I call the workshop, and it has a pergola, and where I guess if you're going out in groups, you can sit there. And wasn't it plastered everywhere? The N-word, get out of here, blacks are this, white power, all of these things. And I stood there. This is a place that for 3 years I walk with my dog all the time, never seen anything like this. And at that moment was the first time being in this province that I actually felt afraid. Because at that moment I didn't know if the culprits were around, were they hiding somewhere, was I going to be a target? And I fled that trail with my dog. And it took me approximately 5 to 6 months to be able to go back on that trail. And then I thought to myself, why is this happening in Newfoundland, Labrador? When you're in Ontario and you hear about Newfoundlanders, and because I'm married to one too, you hear about Newfoundlanders and you're like, they're the friendliest people, they're great, all of this stuff. And yes, they are. That is true. But there's also some people who are not friendly. And that's with everywhere you go. You're always going to get some bad apples. So there are people who are not friendly. And even though people say that the majority of people are friendly, it doesn't mean that racism doesn't exist there. It still exists. There's still people out there who do not like somebody just because of the color of their skin or their religion, whatever religious belief that they have. So it is there needs to be change. There needs to be more awareness, and there needs to be more of embracing the newcomers that come here, or people that move here that are not your typical, like, you know, Newfoundlander, with most because most Newfoundlanders have, I believe, an Irish, English sort of background, and Newfoundland has stayed the status quo for so long, but now diversity is coming in and people are coming in. It should be embraced, because the more you know about other cultures, the richer you become as an individual.
Yeah. That's exactly right, and that's why we're sharing our cultures every time we have an opportunity to do so. And yeah, so we're going to continue our conversation. Actually, this was sort of a good place to take a little break. But yes, it is important, and you are doing a fantastic job in bringing and making sure we have that change that we're looking for, and educating the community and public and the schools as well. So We'll be right back with you, so just hang in there.
I will hang in here.
All right, and Sharing Our Cultures will be right back. Welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures and our conversation with the amazing Barb Walsh. Yes, now you have been an entrepreneur, you've been juggling a lot of balls around. Tell me about, first of all, you're an author. Want to start with the book you've written? Okay.
Yes, my book is set to be released next week. Okay. So I became fascinated a few years ago with essential oils and natural healing remedies. So I've become a master of essential oils. So I wrote a book. My book is titled The 25 Most I think the most important herbal essential oils for your mind, body, and soul. That should be out next week. Along with, I'm releasing next week my new line of essential oils, and all for healing purposes. So, for example, migraines, you know, like me fanning all the time, like stuff for that, stuff for calming you down when you have anxiety. So what I've done is over the last few years, I've been mixing a lot of potions to come up with the right blend of oils to treat certain things. For example, you know, some people have indigestion and they don't want to keep taking pills. You would just rub some of it on your stomach where it hurts, and it will help to cool it down and get rid of that indigestion. So I'm kind of going back to the ancient times where they use oils to cure people, to heal people. You know, so far I'm releasing next week 6 blends that I have. So some of them are for women exclusively, and then some of them are for everyone. Again, with people who can't sleep, they have problems with insomnia. This will help them get to sleep, you know, calmness. And I do plan within the next few months to come out with a few more mixtures. I had a few parents approach me in regards to their children having ADHD and so forth. So there's certain oils you use that help with that, and so that will be the next one. But I'm excited about my book, and I'm excited about coming out with my line of essential oils.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
This is great.
Yes,
yes. I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from that.
Oh, 100%. I myself, I tested everything on myself first, and so I know that it does work, right? Of course, you know, and this is not to substitute if you have some ailments and you're going to your doctors. Of course, stick with that, but this is just something to add to your daily routine for whatever needs you have. So I'm pretty excited about the book. It took me a while because I so much research and everything else, but I'm happy to say that it will be released next week, and you will be able to find it on Amazon.
Okay, well, thank you for letting us know.
Yes.
Right, so you've been busy as well. You have a radio show.
Yes, Barbing Around every Wednesday at 4 p.m. on CHMR 93.5 FM. So it's basically I love it. It's a fun radio show. I have fun with it. We interview different artists, so local singers, authors, painters, you name it. Okay. We interview them, and then we also add a little fun in our show. We have a Newfoundland saying and a Newfoundland facts. So we talk about different things that people probably didn't even know, facts about Newfoundland. Let me just share a quick one with you. Eleanor Pike, 50 years ago or more, she was from Harbor Grace, and a 14-year-old had found her and she was dead. So they started investigating her boyfriend, all these family members, who did this to her, who did this. Then this young man that they were accusing, he ran off with his uncle, who was a fisherman, to get away because he really didn't do it, and he was having a hard time proving his innocence. Well, 50 years later, on the sheriff's or the deputy's deathbed, he confessed that he killed her. And he diverted the case, because he was working on the case, he diverted the case to point the finger at someone else because he did it. So apparently he was having an affair with a minor, and she wanted to tell the world and was getting loud that evening, and he said that he accidentally choked her or whatever. But it was interesting that he told this story on his deathbed. Now, interesting, the young man that they thought that did it, that was her boyfriend at the time, who left with his uncle at sea. The entire boat capsized. Everybody died at sea except for that young man. and he was innocent the whole time. So it was just an interesting story. Another interesting story, and another person that I had on my show, I'll tell you quickly, because I found this really neat. In Clarenville many years ago, there was a UFO sighting. Apparently the UFO was over this body of water for a time. The 2 officers were there that saw it. Lots of people saw the UFO. They had, when they flashed their headlights, the UFO mimicked the lights, and it was there for an hour. So they commemorated that a couple of years ago, and they had the sheriff that was there, or the deputy at the time, talking. He was on the radio, but they commissioned the artwork from Adam Young, the Royal Mint, and so now there's a coin. So I had to go through a lot to get that coin, because there was only so many, but I have that coin, and what's really neat about it is that when you shine the UV light on it, it shows Adam Young's painting of the way the UFOs looked that night, according to the officers that were there. So I just share many interesting facts about Newfoundland, and of course I cap it off with Newfoundland saying, now everybody I think around the world know Newfoundland, whereas my favorite is yes by. I can say yes by a million ways, but it's my favorite thing to say. So I get interesting sayings that maybe people have heard before, maybe they haven't heard before, and then I do explain the meaning of it. So what does it mean and all of that. So I love it. I've learned so much things about Newfoundland and Labrador because of my radio show and all the research that I have to do, apart from my extended family being Newfoundlanders. So.
But it's amazing how you've actually come into this province and embraced the culture as well.
Yes.
You know, in keeping your own traditions and your own culture, but you've embraced the culture to the extent that you have a radio show that incorporates that as well.
I love the culture of Newfoundland. I love the scenery the most. I would say the ocean, the hills. Oftentimes in the spring and summer, I will come outside first thing in the morning, and it'll smell like the Caribbean to me when I go on vacation. I'm like, smells like the Caribbean, just missing the palm trees, but it smells like the Caribbean. I love Newfoundland. I love the folk music. You know, I love the colors of the houses, the way the landscape is. I just love it. And in the summertime, I go cod jigging almost every other weekend. I go jigging, yes, and I'll tell you interesting really quick. One time I was cod jigging and there was a whale that wasn't too far away, and it's the closest that I've ever been to a whale in my life, that close in the water. But I love the Newfoundland culture. I love the music. Yeah, I'm one of those people who will be, you know, singing different Newfoundland things and the catchy songs. And Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, I got jigs and reels going, and there's another one too. But I love the culture here in Newfoundland, Labrador, and the people are great.
Okay.
As I said, we can't make just a few people spoil it for everybody else, because the island on a whole, the people that are here have been very embracing to me, have been very warm to me. So, yeah, I do like it here.
That's great. Okay. Well, just want to find out now, because, you know, sharing our cultures, we work a lot with young people.
Yes.
And when you came here, you thought it was also important for you to have something for the young people, for
yes.
the youth. Yeah.
So since I've been here, I've also started 2 different committees. One is Black Voices Collective, where it's a group of different leaders from the Black community who help me with the programming to discuss different things that are happening that they think that are important to have here in Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, I'll give you an example. You know, when I first came to Newfoundland and Labrador, I was quite shocked that there was no real Black history being taught in the school system. And so I often wondered about that we have to start with the young people, because they are our futures. They're the people who are going to be like, I'm going to be retiring in some years, you know? They're the people who are going to be our future. So I thought it was important. So out of Black Voices Collective, we came up with Youth Black Voices Collective, which gives the youth that voice that they so need, and we talk about things that they experience in schools. Not all very good, but you know, it is sometimes what it is. But giving them that voice to express themselves, to tell me what their needs are, to tell me what they would like to see change, you know? How can I make your life better? And I'm proud to say that Black Voices, the Youth Black Voices, has taken another level now, because now we are creating a Youth BIPOC committee, and we're going to partner with Sharing Our Cultures.
And love that.
Yes, and so I'm excited because I want the youth to have a voice. I want them to feel safe. I want them to feel respected, and I think this will help do that.
Okay, that's great, and we're with you all the way and giving you all the support you need.
Thank you for that.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Right, yeah, well, we just have about a minute or so to go now. One word of advice, something you'd say to someone who's thinking about coming to the province, someone's thinking about leaving, but we want them to stay. What would you say?
I would tell them that give it a chance, and try what you've got to do. There's a lot of opportunities here in Newfoundland. I'll give you an example. Ontario, it's so crowded. There's so many businesses, so many things. There's a lot of opportunities for somebody to come and do something amazing here in Newfoundland, and they should take advantage of that. Now we've got restaurants from the African descent. We got this, we got that. Soon we'll have everything they need. Stay in the province, please. No matter what, stay here. We need you.
We need them too, because if they keep leaving, we won't have the diversity.
And that's the thing, retention. And that's why I love things like our African Roots Festival that we have every year. I love the fact of sharing our cultures, having events, and other people having multicultural events, because it makes people have that sense of belonging. See, they can identify with what they see, and that'll help them to stay here, and more retention for us here in the province. Yeah, but give it a chance. Everybody has to give it a chance, and they'll love it just as much as I do.
I'm sure they will. And of course, we can always look forward to more Emancipation Day events and Black History Month.
This August, we have Emancipation Celebration, and this year it is going to be a family fun event. Because it's in the summertime, we decided to make it a family event. So we were going to have maybe magicians, face painting, music, art, Black vendors. We expect to have a really great emancipation this year. So check on our website or check back in with Sharing Our Cultures, because we'll have the date and everything final pretty soon.
Oh, great. Oh, and I'm looking forward to that. I won't miss that at all.
Me too.
Thank you so much for being with me today. I've really enjoyed our time together.
Thank you so much, Lloydetta, for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to sit down with you. I feel like we just had one of our regular discussions.
Definitely.
Thank you.
All right. You're very welcome. Thank you. And Sharing Our Cultures will be right back. Thanks for watching this episode of Sharing Our Cultures, and thanks to Barb for being an amazing guest. Until next time, see you then.